Greetings, colleagues, students, and friends. Before we begin, I ask you to join me in a moment of silence for victims of war and violence in the Middle East, Iran, Eastern Europe, India and Pakistan, Africa, and elsewhere throughout the world. A moment of silence, please. Thank you. We condemn violence and hatred of all kinds, including racism, anti-Semitism, and Islamophobia. We support one another in times of difficulty and are committed to a community that's respectful of and safe for everyone. Well, we welcome all attending today in the Scott Ring Room and those attending virtually. If you're joining us virtually, please turn cameras on if possible. As I shared in a message to the HCCC community last Saturday, the Board of Trustees Finance Committee has asked us to review guidelines, policies, and procedures related to professional development travel. While I've always strongly supported professional development of all employees and continue to do so, we're committed to providing clarity as requested by the board. Under Veronica Zeitner's leadership, we're reviewing travel guidelines and will make recommendations to the board to resolve any concerns regarding costs. Last week, the Cabinet communicated to the Board Finance Committee its support for and advocacy of professional development travel that reflects our commitment to continuous institutional improvement and the pursuit of best practices. Cabinet members noted that participation in national and statewide convenings is directly connected to our ability to remain a high-performing institution. The Cabinet will recommend to the Board Finance Committee revised travel guidelines that address board concerns and balance fiscal responsibility with the college's need to remain engaged, visible, and effective at both the state and national levels. We plan to suggest updated policies and procedures for the review of the board by June 1st, with the goal of finalizing any changes in guidelines for implementation at the start of the new fiscal year on July 1st. While this review and development of recommendations is underway, and at the direction of the board chair, travel is currently paused, including travel that was previously approved, with a few exceptions that I think are already understood. If you have pending travel in the coming weeks or months, we ask you to make the necessary arrangements to cancel and seek applicable reimbursements. And I want to note this: any expenses incurred by employees for previously approved travel that cannot be canceled will be fully reimbursed to you by the college. Should you have any questions or require guidance, please consult your vice president, and I thank all members of the HCCC community for your patience and understanding. As I shared, now on to some more positive things. As I shared earlier this week with our HCCC community, we celebrate another proud milestone in HCC's more than 50-year story and history, following 3 national awards received Monday evening at the American Association of Community Colleges National Conference in Seattle. For the second time in 3 years, Hudson County Community College is the only institution to receive 3 of 10 national awards, this year in recognition of the college's excellence in teaching, equity, and belonging. We congratulate Professor of Theater Arts Joseph Gallo, who won the Faculty Innovation Award, Assistant Professor of Exercise Science Karen Hosick, who was named AACC Faculty of the Year, and our HCCC family, that's all of us, which was honored with the AACC Advancing Institutional Equity and Belonging Award. And you can clap for that too, because that's really important. And also celebrated before several thousand community college faculty, staff, students, and trustees were 3 additional HCCC colleagues and partners who were finalists in more award categories. So we congratulate Director of Labor and Employee Relations Amala Ogburn, a finalist for AACC's Rising Star Manager Award. Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Heather DeVries, a finalist for Rising Star Executive. And the HCCC and New Jersey Reentry Corporation, headed by former New Jersey Governor Jim McGreevey, honored in the category of Outstanding College Corporate Partnership. That is. But wait, I feel like this is one of those infomercials. There is more. We also congratulate Dr. Nadia Headley, who received well-deserved recognition as an AACC Dale Parnell Distinguished Faculty Honoree. Well done, Nadia. As they say, it takes a village and Hudson is home. At the March meeting of the Board of Trustees, 4 faculty received tenure and promotion to the rank of assistant professor beginning next year. And at last Tuesday's board meeting, 12 faculty were promoted to associate professor or full professor. I have asked, and I'm now calling forward Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Darrell Jones, to speak about and lead us in celebrating these colleagues. Darrell.
Thank you, Chris. So, Chris, thanks for shedding light on the most recent awards during the AACC conference. And I happened to be there, and I was sitting at the table with Professor Gallo and Professor Hosick. And as the recognition was being announced, both were sitting there and pretty nervous and excited about whether they will be awarded or not. And I've got some great videos of Karen in her moment and Joseph in his moment, if you want to see those. But it was a proud moment for 2 faculty that have been heads down, really contributing immensely to the college. So it was good for them to receive their particular recognition. As Chris mentioned, the past 2 months have been a fabulous and inspiring time here at the college, and we haven't even gotten to other events like the grad salute, the ESL graduation, or commencement. But 2 events, that being the awarding of tenure for 4 of our faculty, and most recently, the recognition of 12 of our colleagues that are being promoted for various ranks. So I'd like to remind all that haven't heard my remarks or unaware of those that have been approved for tenure. Dr. Christopher Cody, who's here virtually. Dr. Cody is Assistant Professor of History. Rafi Manjikian, Assistant Professor of Chemistry, awarded tenure. Sonia Rodiker-Radovic, Assistant Professor of ESL, awarded tenure, and Saliha Yagoba, Assistant Professor of ESL, all awarded tenure. Please, one more time, let's congratulate them. In addition to those that have received tenure, there are also 12 colleagues that are being recognized for promotion in rank for their sustained commitment to excellence, commitment to the college's mission, and of course, commitment to our students. Those that are being promoted to associate professor include Faisal Al-Jamal, Associate Professor of Computer Science and Cybersecurity, Lauren Drew, Associate Professor of English as a Second Language, Karen Galley, who's in the room with her entire class, Associate Professor of English, Lauren O'Gara, Associate Professor of Academic Foundations English, Susanna Wexler, Associate Professor of English, and there are several faculty that are promoted to full professor. Antonio Acevedo, Professor of History, Robin Anderson, Professor of Early Childhood Education, Allison Bach, or Ali Bach, Professor of English, Ava Kozlenko, shout out, Professor of English as a Second Language for Ava, Kawal Krishan, Professor of Academic Foundation Mathematics, Craig McLaughlin, Professor of Psychology, and Alana Winslow, recommended for the rank of Professor of Business. I'd also like to thank those individuals that participated in leading the particular committees. Dr. Heather DeRees, who chaired the tenure committee. Heather, thank you very much for your service on that. And also Dr. Epenio Padier, her service for the promotion committee also. So to all of those that have been awarded for tenure promotion, congratulations. And with that new title comes additional work. So congratulations.
Thank you so much, Darrell, and congratulations, valued and dedicated faculty colleagues. Last Monday, I received a letter from the Middle States Commission on Higher Education, the Vice President for Institutional Field Relations, Dr. Susan Hartness. Dr. Hartness has officially accepted our reaffirmation of accreditation self-study design. You'll recall she was on campus with another colleague a month or so ago. And in her letter, Dr. Hartness wrote, and I'm quoting, "I have read the final draft of the self-study design, and it's my conclusion that it will serve as an effective roadmap and reference document for the steering committee and its working groups. It was clear that a great deal of thought and effort went into the creation of the design, and as a result, you have a very strong foundation from which to begin the next phase of the self-study design process." So we want to thank Dr. Heather DeVries and Dr. Nadia Headley for their continuing exemplary leadership of our Middle States reaffirmation of accreditation planning process, and all of the folks across the college that are involved in doing this work. So thank you. Well done. I think that's worthy of applause. This is a timid group today. And speaking of Heather, I would now like to invite her to offer an update of our student success initiatives. Heather.
Thank you so much. So as our academic year winds down, so does our kind of cadence of work, our annual cadence of work with Achieving the Dream. So I offer 3 updates. The Dream Team is busy preparing for Mary and Renee's 4th and final visit of this academic year. They will be with us on Thursday, April 30th and Friday, May 1st. And we'll meet with key groups of ESL, Hudson Scholars, and nursing. To really get some updates on work to date based on Mary and Renee's last letter, as well as provide a roadmap for work throughout the summer so we can continue the momentum in those months as well. Thank you again to everyone who makes Mary and Renee's visits possible. This extends across the college, across those leadership teams who meet with them and spend extensive hours preparing for those meetings with them. Thank you to IR, John, Aisha, Katie, and Bamshi for all of your support in preparing data. To our IT team, to Flick, to facilities, to public safety and security. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So that'll be their 4th and final visit for the year. And then again, we'll continue the work through the summer. We are also working on our annual report to Achieving the Dream, our annual reflection form they ask us to complete, where they ask about our areas of focus over the past year and our goals for the future. And we also give a glimpse or a snapshot across ATD's capacities where our work aligns most closely. So that is due the beginning of May. Finally, John Argola, Daryl, and I met with representatives from Achieving the Dream last week to get some feedback on our Leah Meyer Austin application. We were successful in reapplying or recertifying for a Leader College of Distinction, but we did want that all-important feedback on our Leah Meyer Austin application. And they pointed out several areas of strengths, in particular with the narrative around our clear data story and the Hudson Scholars Program, the clear evidence of improvement in graduation rate, and strong evidence of leadership, strategic alignment, and organizational agility. And then noted that areas for growth included talking about, again, what is already an area of focus. We're ahead of the curve here in terms of economic mobility data, thinking about the outcomes our students have beyond completion and the impact they have in and on their communities as well. So we'll continue to refine those points for next year's application. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much for your outstanding leadership and support, Heather. And I'm also delighted to share that the New Jersey Board of Nursing has granted continuing accreditation of the HCCC Practical Nursing Program following the review of our program self-study report. This accreditation is for a full 8 years from 2025 to 2033. God, I'm going to be dead. We thank and congratulate Dean of Nursing and Health Professions, Dr. Catherine Sarangelo, and her colleagues for their leadership of this process. Thank you all nursing colleagues, we appreciate it. So now, on the heels of being honored with the American Association of Community Colleges 2026 Advancing Institutional Equity and Belonging Award, I'd now like to invite Vice President for Institutional Engagement and Excellence, Dr. Uris Pujols, and President's Advisory Council on Institutional Engagement and Excellence Co-Chair, Rafi Manjikian, to offer an update of their work and activities. And then following that, I'd like to ask Uris to share an update on the activities of our Federal Compliance Working Group. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Nice to see everyone. Sorry, I just came in. I heard you acknowledge the tenure and the promotions and everything, so thank you so much for all the faculty, myself included, for tenure, promotion, and everything else. Just quick updates for this, because I know Uris has a lot for the office. So PACE is currently bringing back our Stories Untold. Diana and I have someone in mind. We don't want to confirm it yet because we don't have the exact date and time, but we have someone who will give the presentation at the end of April, early May. And then we have our PACE retreat that will be geared towards faculty, but everyone is welcome on Thursday, July 16th at the Sea Caucus Center. Very excited to be at the Sea Caucus Center. I think Chris is there. Thank you, Dr. Konzen. So very excited. I've never been there. I live right across from it, and I still never been there. So I can't wait to just walk to work that day. That would be a great thing for me, especially in this heat because I'm already sweating. So thank you so much. And I believe that we have one more meeting for the regular semester where we're going to revise the membership and we're going to look at everything institutionally to see how we can move forward, as well as plan for the retreat. So I'm going to pass it off to Yuris because we have a busy day. I'm also sweating like crazy. So thank you so much, and I appreciate everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Rafi. Now we make sense why Rafi has been advocating for us to host that retreat at the Secaucus Center. I just wanted to add something that the president mentioned. Our attendance in ACC's conference, it was really impactful to be at the stage, surrounded by all these high-performing, best practices colleges, and all that they were hearing was Hudson County Community College, Hudson County Community College. But most of all, something that really dawned on me is that community colleges were all about access and teaching and learning. And they hosted 3 different recognitions for faculty: Faculty Innovation, Faculty of the Year, and the Parnell Award. So there were 3. And Hudson County Community College walked away with all of them. So I just wanted to take, again, another moment just to recognize our colleagues. Dr. Nadia Headley, again, Chris recognized them, but you know, I don't think there's a greater purpose for the work that we do. So again, Dr. Nadia Headley, Professor Joseph Gallo, and Professor Karen Hosek. Yeah, for the round for those. And talking about faculty, I also want to recognize Professor Saliha Jagubi for hosting the Arabic for Educators, Bridge Linguistic and Cultural Differences. This was a 2-part series that many of us went into the room, and we tried to understand some of the sounds, the words, and the second component kind of dealt with the cultural component of that, because many of you in the classroom, the services that you render, the support that you provide, you're dealing with many of those students that are transitioning from Arabic to English, and that was very useful. I am sad to report that I did not learn Arabic in that session, but it was really wonderful. I was looking at you for that. I also want to recognize our colleague, Michelle Vitali, Director of Cultural Affairs, for hosting. I mean, she does a lot, but there are 2 particular programs that I wanted to note here. We're all welcome. All are welcome. There was an exhibition at the Deneen Hall Gallery, which ended this past Friday. And the conclusion of that led to the celebration of the gallery. It's 10 years. So, we were planning to have a birthday cake, and Dennis Hall was in attendance. He's one of the 2 benefactors that donated a very prominent art collection to the college that led to the opening of the gallery. And also, his name is, it's on the gallery. Michelle organized the gallery, almost like a lounge, where he sat there, people came in to say hello, and at the same time, there was a screen that had an interview that he had previously conducted, him and his partner. And every time like a new frame came in the screen, he would, oh, that's this piece. Oh, I got that from, like provides this background information about that. In the video, he referenced the materials that they donated as being part of their family, and the way that he was talking about each piece really reflect that. There were about 200 people that attended. That included students, faculty, and staff. And it was wonderful to see a lot of former, well, I shouldn't say former members, but retired members of the college community, faculty members that just came back just to say hello and to be here for that wonderful, wonderful program. Also, at the North Hudson campus, the Office of Cultural Affairs curated an exhibition titled An Extended Look. That was a continuation of the 50 Years of Excellence exhibition that we had here in the Museum of Jersey City History Museum. And a lot of those materials were taken to the North Hudson. So if you have not had an opportunity to see it, please check it out. Michelle also reached out to the people that are there so they could write a note, a reflection of their time there. And a part of that was the creation of this book. It's not final, but this book includes all of the material, or not all, but some of the material that was prominently featured in happenings. And also there were letters from faculty, staff, and people that have been there for a while, kind of like the reflections. And, so this will be available to all of you soon. And again, in addition to Michelle, I also want to thank Salma and Jack, because, very often it's always a team effort, right? It always takes a village. In the world of accessibility, I just want to thank Danielle Lopez, Director of Accessibility Services, and her team for working really hard to ensure that we meet the deadline of web accessibility guidelines. And the deadline for that, it's coming Friday, next week, the 24th. So there's been an incredible amount of training sessions for faculty and staff. The office also created a website resource center that people could learn how to files and what works and what doesn't work. And I know, again, it takes a village. This was in collaboration with Christopher Fontanes and the website management team. In the area of institutional engagement and excellence training, I'm really happy to share that our office, in partnership with Student Life and Leadership, we are bringing back the former Passport program, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Passport program, but now we're calling it an Engagement and Empowerment program. This is a leadership program for students. It's 100% asynchronous online, and it's a 4-week, 4-module program that really highlights, the essence of leadership, engagement, and how to excel. So this is the first time out of the gates. We have 16 people registered, and the goal is for us to offer that multiple times during the year. I want to take Richard Walker from our office, Keisha Taylor from Student Life and Leadership, and also Dr. Khan from the Center of Online Learning. Every time we change the name of the program, we're like, hey, can you swap the words and do this and do that? Also, the African American Outreach Committee, we're hosting a gospel memorial honoring the life of Reverend Jesse Jackson. Keep Hope Alive is the theme that we have selected. So we have invited members of the community, from the choirs, from the members of the African American Outreach. They're going to come, they're going to perform, and we're going to have an excellent program celebrating an incredible life, the life of someone that is dearly connected to this community. I mean, he did speak at one of the commencements program exercises in 2010, I believe. And the Middle Eastern North African Advisory Council, Chris sent out an invitation to all of you. This is something that has been on the works for a while. We just never got kind of like critical mass or enough people to make it meaningful. So our approach this time around is that instead of starting with people from the outside, we're going to start internally. We invited our students, our faculty and staff. We're going to convene. We're going to go over the goals. And once we identify that, then we're going to reach out to our networks in the community to make sure that we have that external component to that. So I also want to thank Professor Saliha Jagubi and Salma Adewad from Cultural Affairs for agreeing to be the co-chairs of this program. And of course, Matthew Fessler from Enrollment Services, myself, Richard, and Myrta will be working with them. Again, it takes a village, so we're all going to do it together. And now I just want to take a moment to give a quick update on the task force work. We met earlier this Monday, and most of the conversation was based on immigration enforcement activities. We've been anticipating that the activity was going to increase, and we were saddened to hear that one of our students was detained. This is the first students that we know that has been detained, but doesn't mean that she was the first. She was detained together with her mother. And I believe I mentioned this at the last time that we were here, but we're just communicating with the family, providing support. Another student, faculty member reached out to the president recently about a relative that has also been detained and moved out of state, similar to the first student. So, I just want to let everyone know that we might not have all the answers to these challenges that we have, but you do not have to navigate it by yourself. So what we're going to ask, or what we're asking is for students, talk to your faculty, let them know what it is. And the last time that we talked about this at the PACE meeting and also the task force is that the faculty members are working with the students. They're providing accommodation. They're providing support. And the faculty members, if you find yourself with like, can I really do that? Speak to your coordinators, to your deans to ensure that, but at the last meeting that we have with the task force, it was Tricia Clay mentioned that we have the capability to essentially provide remote option to almost every class. So, concerns, go out there and tell your faculty members. As a next steps on this, Cheryl Lynn, immigration lawyer, that has been here 5, 6, 7 times at the college by now, is gonna be back here on April 28th, and she's gonna be doing another Know Your Rights information session. Jack Quigley and his team are gonna be in attendance, because one of the questions that I'm getting for students, again, is the questions about private spaces and public spaces and so on. So us being there to be able to answer that should be helpful. The program is gonna be held in a hybrid modality, on ground and virtually, and we're also going to record it like all the others to ensure that the information is there. So I, again, ran out of things to say and to read here, so I'm going to take a pause, but I'm going to be here, Lisa's going to be here, and Rafi's going to be here to ask any questions towards the end. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Eurus, Rafi, and in absentia, we also thank Diana Galvez, who's the other co-chair of PACE. Well, it's hard to believe that our 2026 commencement exercises are just around the corner. Can you believe this? I can't. We're delighted to announce that Marlon Peña Crespo will be our 2026 valedictorian. Marlon is joining us virtually today. He's graduating from our computer science program with a perfect 4.0 grade point average. He's a member of our EOF program and our Beta Alpha Phi chapter of the Phi Theta Kappa International Honor Society. And very notably, Marlon is a semifinalist for the prestigious Jack Kent Cooke Undergraduate Transfer Scholarship. Last fall, Marlon was selected as one of only 5 statewide AI for Impact Fellows, a program sponsored by the New Jersey Office of Innovation. The fellowship was a newly launched opportunity designed to identify and develop emerging talent at the intersection of innovation and public service in community colleges. Marlon developed a project focused on how artificial intelligence could be applied to improve the Medicaid experience, approaching the problem with both technical curiosity and a strong sense of human impact. And last December, I was pleased to attend Marlon's final project presentation in Trenton, where he shared his work with an audience of senior leaders from government, higher education, and industry, spanning the public and private sectors. We had never met before, but now I know Marlon well, and he inspires me, and we look forward to Marlon's commencement address that's sure to be inspirational. Marlon, I think you're still here. Would you like to say a few words? Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hi everyone. Yes, I wanted to start by saying thank you so much. This is an honor and it really means a lot to me. And honestly, just yesterday I was reflecting on everything that has happened over the past year, and I almost couldn't believe in myself because when I first arrived to this country by myself, I was just focusing on surviving and like working nonstop. But at some point, a year ago, I decided to pause for the first time in 2 years. And that's when I decided that I wanted to start college. But I come from Cuba. It's a totally different educational system. It's more strict, more controlled. And I had no idea where to start here. So I went to my nearest school, Hudson County Community College. And even when everything was very overwhelming at first, Hudson became the bridge between where I was at that moment and my future in higher education. And honestly, coming here, Hudson has opened the door to a completely new world for me, where I could express myself freely, where I could explore and I could make mistakes and grow from them. And honestly, just really grateful to everyone at Hudson, all my professors, my mentors, my counselors, the whole staff, anyone who in one way or another played even a small part in my journey, from the leadership with Dr. Reber to Phi Theta Kappa that opened the opportunities for me, like working in the New Jersey's Department of State, and programs like EOF with Ms. Halperek, that honestly helped me from day one to understand how everything works here and how to navigate the system. So I really wouldn't be here without all that support. And I was accepted into Columbia, so I'm really excited to continue this path at the next level. But no matter what, where I go or where I stand, I know that I'll always be proud to be part of this community. I'm proud to come from Hudson County Community College, and proud to be part of PTK, proud to be an EOF student, and just proud to be part of the New Jersey educational system that gave me this opportunity. So thank you so much for that.
Marlon, would you be comfortable just sharing a little bit about the story of what you were doing in Cuba and what brought you here, if you're comfortable, on your education and your journey there? Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, so actually in Cuba, I was doing a little bit of a different thing. I was in medical school for over 3 years. And for someone that it's not related to the situation in Cuba, it's very difficult. It has a lot of challenges in all the areas, social, economy, politics. So I sadly had to take the decision of leave my country behind with everything that I knew, and my family and my friends, and my whole story, and my everything that I was building. So I came here without nothing, not net worth, not support. And I was lucky enough to find help in and support in social programs like churches and social organizations that help me with food and a little bit of money to survive. And they also share with me the information about Hudson County Community College, and that's how I was able to find this school. And honestly, before that, I thought that going to a university in US was not something that I was allowed to. But when I went to Hudson and they share with me all the opportunities that someone like me had in that particular school, that it's proud of, open to the community and to embrace the difference and all kind of backgrounds. So I was so excited, and I couldn't wait, and I just started to do it. And it has been hard. It's been a challenge. I've been working and studying at the same time and trying to make the best of it. But I'm very, very proud to be here, and very, very thankful.
Thank you, Marlon. We are very, very proud of you, inspired by you, and truthfully, you personify the mission of this college. And you are going to be having a beautiful future, and we hope you'll always remember that Hudson is home. Thank you. We look forward to seeing you at commencement. Yeah. This is why we do what we do. We're also exceedingly proud that HCCC will again celebrate a record number of graduates in the history of the college at our May 19th commencement exercises at Sports Illustrated Stadium in Harrison. This will be the college's 6th consecutive record graduating class. I think we're topping or getting close to top. Yes. 1,631 graduates we will celebrate on May 19th. That is phenomenal. As you hopefully are aware, we're looking forward to a full day of professional development for the HCCC community on Friday, April 24th. Professor Corrine Housington, a national speaker on artificial intelligence from the Virginia Community College system, will be on campus to discuss and facilitate interactive learning on the topic of moving from AI anxiety to AI fluency. We thank AI Strategy and Governance Council co-chairs Tricia Clay and Matt LeBrake for coordinating this opportunity that's one of many initiatives underway in our college-wide engagement around all things AI. I had the pleasure of hearing a session that Professor Hoisington did at a Cengage conference last fall. It was phenomenal. This is really worth your time. If you can be there, I strongly encourage you to do that. Matt is out of town right now, but Tricia is here, and I have asked her to offer an update, not only on the upcoming speaker, but the continuing work of the AI Strategy and Governance Council. Tricia, thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks, everybody. And I'll do my best to hold up the deal for Matt here today. So as you know, Matt and I are the co-chairs of the AISGC. I'm clicker challenged, so next slide, please. Anyway, we're working our way through our charge, and what you'll see here in a moment is the highlighted items are what are currently being worked on. Our first working group is the Academic Integrity Working Group. You will be seeing updates from those fine folks very shortly, in addition to a few other items from the work of the full council. And we're going to be adding more working groups in the fall to continue with this important work. I encourage you all, if you're interested in this, please stay tuned for opportunities to step up and volunteer your time on important AI-related initiatives. Next slide, please. So coming very soon, this is only a preview. If you come to our April 24th, which is next Friday's Professional Development Day, you'll get your hands on your own physical copy of the foundation or our lighthouse. We've been using a lot of different analogies for this, of our responsible AI guiding principles. We'll also be releasing a web page that will show the guiding principles, some practical applications, and soon after, a traffic light protocol guidance to really help us when we're thinking about individual items that you may do in your work or that students may do in their work, what is or is not acceptable to do. So next slide, please. So please, I take out your phone. The QR code is active. Do us a favor and register if you will be here, because we need a head count for breakfast and lunch. Corinne, who is just amazing dynamic speaker, will be doing a keynote presentation in the morning. In the blink of AI, community colleges as the front line of AI workforce readiness. Then our morning workshop is a staff and faculty workshop that talks about AI fluency and practical tools. As a part of your registration, please sign up to be on the waiting list for a premium co-pilot license, and you will be learning new techniques for free tools, but also premium license tools, which we'll be able to feel a lot more comfortable using with our college-related information. And then in the afternoon, a very exciting workshop on redesigning assessment for integrity and learning. And for faculty, please bring an assessment that you're curious or concerned about. And also, I encourage you all to bring your laptops so that you can experiment in your own workspace. It's very exciting, and I, for one, cannot wait. So again, the QR code is active, and communications will be sending out further emails. So please don't forget to sign up. And thank you.
Tricia, thank you so much for your leadership in this incredibly important work. So we now open the meeting to questions, comments, concerns, announcements, suggestions, topics of celebration, and anything else.